really, for everybody to start doing it. We're doing commercial. What are we gonna do with residential? Bricktown has trailers on their property. They have it at the recreation center, they have it at the PAL, they have them all over the place. So why are they not being issued? Do they have a site plan that it actually says trailers on there?
We want to work with all of the businesses here in town. We do. And as I said, it's a complaint-based system. We're not sending people out.
Really? The Presbyterian Church has 2 trailers so far off the road for the Boy Scouts. It's so far. Who can see them? You can't even really see them. And they got a citation. That doesn't make sense at all. Some of the places have them behind their buildings, and they're getting summonses. Why? You can't really see them in the road. So how's somebody going to find them?
We are going to work with these businesses to make sure that the trailers are.
It's affecting all the businesses
I understand
right now.
that.
It is.
I do.
But why can't we just leave things alone? It's not hurting anybody. That's the problem I have. It's not affecting these people. It's not affecting these people. Let them all run their business. If somebody has 10 trailers on his property, I understand. Then it should be a citation. But when you got a guy, one person with a little trailer on his property, it's not affecting anybody. It's really not. And you guys know that. So something's happening that we're just going to start citation all these people. And it just makes no sense. So one individual that's here tonight, he's been going to the courts, and with him going to the courts, it's costing him a lot of money. It's costing the people of Bricktown money. It's tax dollars that we're paying for this guy, for you guys to go through the courts. And it's going to end up being a class action suit because everybody's going to end up getting together against the town. I'm being honest, and that's what's going to end up happening because that's why all these people started coming. It started on social media, and now everybody's worried about the boats. Everybody's worried about the business.
Well, let's be clear about the boats. So there's some misinformation. There's misinformation about what is allowed on residential property. So boats and boat trailers are permitted. We're a boating community.
Okay.
Nobody's being cited for that.
Okay.
RVs and campers permitted on properties.
RV, a camper.
Because
used for storage. You've got everything stored in your camper.
Okay. And also open landscape trailers are permitted. I'm telling you what's permitted by the code.
So why can't a guy have a 6x12 trailer on his property because he doesn't have a garage and something like that? It makes no sense. Am I right or wrong?
We have people who have called and complained. If you're talking about residential properties at this point, we have residents who've called and complained. And it's the duty of the code enforcement officers to go out and investigate each complaint.
So people complain about one individual? Because there's one
People?
individual that's,
Well, you're saying that, but there are 75,000 people that live in this town,
I
and there are
understand.
people who call and complain about having trailers parked in their neighborhoods. That is something that I understand what you're saying, and we really want to work with everyone to try to make sure that everyone is able to have what they need and do what they need to do. However, because we have code, and we have people residents in this town who see these things and they don't want trailers in their neighborhood. So we have to act on that.
so we go after one person if somebody.
We don't go after one person. You're acting like we're targeting one person. Council President.
Yeah, look, Bob, we appreciate your feedback.
Right.
We understand that this is
It's a bad issue in this town because we never had this problem. That's
Allow me to
that's what I
finish.
understand.
We understand that the concerns that you're raising are held by many.
Right.
And I appreciate your feedback. I think the council appreciates your feedback, and we will take that into consideration. As Mayor Crate had said, we are looking for an amenable resolution. I think there's a perception that the town is targeting folks. That is not occurring. It is the case that all of the noise brought around the ordinance that you yourself has admitted has been on the books for more than 55 years,
Correct.
has led to a flood of complaints into the code enforcement group. And they are at the moment bound to go out and address those complaints. So I think there's a resolution to be found here. It's something that we're going to work on.
One of the other things that I do want to point out as far as trailers and things like that on properties, if you're doing construction on your home and you have a dumpster and you have one of the, the rat packs or whatever they're called, those are permissible for a short amount of time. So if you are doing construction on your home, all that we ask is that you don't need a permit. So for instance, if you're getting your floors ripped up, you don't need a permit for that, okay, but you need to obviously move your furniture out of the house. We just ask that you call code enforcement and let them know so that it's on their radar, so that they know that obviously it's a short-term thing and they're not going to be, if a neighbor does call and say something, that they're aware of that property, that we do ask for people to do that. That helps us so that we're not called out to places that are, we don't need to investigate.
So you're saying landscapers are okay with trailers on their property? Is that
Open
what you said?
landscaping trailers are permitted.
Okay. Enclosed trailer you cannot have on the property.
As the code is written right now, open landscaping trailers are permitted. RVs, campers, boats, and boat trailers on residential properties.
And commercial. We're talking about commercial too.
Yeah, if it's the same, it's the same. You have to have the site plan for the commercial though, for the closed trailers. You have
For
to
a
have the
closed
site.
trailer.
Can we do?
Oh,
Can we put a boat on it? Yeah, boats are allowed, yeah.
Boats are allowed.
Okay.
There's no issue with that. Boats are boats and trailers.
boats are allowed on commercial property. Open trailer is allowed on a commercial property.
If you're gonna do a large-scale boat storage operation, that's gonna require a site plan. If someone's gonna.
Large scale.
Right.
Boats are allowed on commercial property. Open trailers are allowed on commercial property, right?
And residential, yes.
And residential.
The only ones that are not allowed is an enclosed trailer on commercial.
And residential.
Closed
And the-
trailer is not allowed on
Correct.
residential.
And also, I need you to keep in mind, when those things are on the property, they need to be out of the right of way. And they
Correct.
need to not be blocking like line of sight.
Site.
Yeah.
Right. So enclosed trailers will not be allowed on commercial or residential property.
Unless it's part of the site plan for the commercial property.
So somebody that has a enclosed trailer on a residential property that he's using for storage of his antique car, whatever he has, is not allowed.
As the code is written right now, correct.
And we're gonna enforce those codes on everybody with an enclosed trailer.
If a complaint is called out and has to be investigated, then at this point, yes.
So I'm mad at you today and you have an enclosed trailer. I call up and then the situation, it gets out and he gets a summons on that? Is that how that goes now or no?
It'll be investigated. And
It's investigated like any other complaint is investigated.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is Joe Schmo has an argument. I have an argument with you today and I call up. So are we gonna pursue it or just give him a warning, like, let's, how's it gonna work?
Our code enforcement, if a complaint is made, code enforcement goes out to investigate.
Correct.
And they will make
Yes.
the determination.
And they will
And
make
then-
the
yeah.
determination. Okay. I'll let these guys do the talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Art Hasselback, 28 West Pampernell. I just heard the biggest bunch of BS from the mayor about who you can't find out and so on. You guys cited me 2 years ago, and through discovery, I got the name and the address of the person and a person other than a code enforcement person where emails were brought back and forth. And originally, the code enforcement said I was not in violation having my trailer, because it's registered, insured, and it had registered and insured motor vehicles, and the title on it says utility trailer, not a storage trailer. And I'll tell you, it's been 2 years going on now, and it's the personal thing, because it was a person down the street that I had an issue with, and they called it in, and then it affected 2 other people on the block, and then nothing was done for a while. Now, I also have information about how other people that was cited and when it was cited and so on. And this is not a common thing that's going on all the time. This was something because the one person, which somebody's going to, they're gonna find out who this person is, who started all this problem, and where they live, and all their information. And I'm not gonna stop, because they're persecuting me for having a motorcycle trailer that's roadworthy and everything else, and I'm not bothering anybody, because I got some cranky Navy down the street who happens to be a friend with somebody who works for the township. Now I get persecuted for it. And I will, if I have to, I'm gonna pursue it to the limit, because I don't like this. I just wanna live and let live. I don't wanna be bothered. I'm not having a derelict trailer. I don't have a bunch of junk there. I store my motorcycle and my rally gear in the motorcycle, and it's garage. It's not stored, because I take the bike out, I ride it, and I put it back in there, and it's garaged in there. It's not stored, like it sits there for 8, 10 months. And that's what it is, because I don't have a place to put it. And there's a lot of other people that don't have places for snowmobiles, dirt bikes, antique cars, classic cars, because they don't have garages, and they've got to go out of town or pay somebody else to store it. And then the other thing you said about it's a boating community. When you're talking about camper trailers and motorhomes, you don't have one recreational campground in this town. So how can you say that this is a recreational camping town? It's not. There isn't any. Well, that's what you're insinuating, just because it's boating.
Mr.
But the
Haskell, I
thing is,
think
yes,
the
there is
mayor
boats,
is, the
but
mayor
there's-
is referring you
I
to
did
the
not
way
say
the
that.
ordinance is written.
Well, it's a discriminatory, and it's a spite ordinance, and I think people are gonna get together, I hope, come election. We'll see what happens then. Thank you.
Anybody else from public? Please state your name and your address, sir.
Good evening. Mike Kleisler, 2456 Hooper Avenue. I want to begin by opening up, and some things I may say may be perceived a little rough. I'm going to just say it as it comes to my mind to represent myself, my interests, and the people through the community. But what I'm seeing, I was at the meeting where the attorney, Starkey, spoke to me, looked me in the eye, and told me that the issue was tabled, and it's back tonight. So, without interruption, okay, we listen to you, please listen to me. I find that to be an issue of candor, because you tell somebody it's not going to be addressed, and now it comes back. Either you're getting pressure from an affiliate of yours, or you just simply didn't tell the truth.
I'll
And
address
if
that.
that's the case, then we have a public mistrust issue. And today on the internet, through Facebook, somebody posted around the 4 o'clock hour, 4 p.m., that the matter, they posted the agenda, and I don't know if it was a council member or township official in any capacity, but it said it would not be addressed. And then it wasn't until a small neighborhood community chat that it said, if you have interest in this topic, you better get there, because it is in fact going to be discussed. So again, public trust. And I think as a nation, we've gone through enough public trust and distrust issues over the last 4+ years that locally, we don't need it. We need to have trust in every single one of you, and that's my next point, is that power. You hold power, and power starts with knowledge. And I don't think, with respect to this ordinance, when you go to definitions of what makes a trailer, I don't think if I gave you a sheet of paper to write down the types of trailers, you would know any of the types, let alone the differences between them. I do. I'm a retired state police commercial truck inspector. It's a federal agreement between Canada, United States, and Mexico called the North American Agreement. And you can go 26 years in that specific job position and still have your head spin trying to learn things to make sense out of it. I held power to the point where I could give penalty to an innocent driver who just failed to know knowledge, more than he might make in a quarter, half a year, an entire year's salary. With the stroke of one pen, I could sink him, his family, and everything else. And I don't know if you guys know what you can and can't do. But I had power. I never abused it. I'm not saying anybody tonight is abusing it. But I think pressure is coming, and I feel bad for the code enforcement officials, because they have a job to do, and they have to worry about their own hide. But with respect to the trailer owners and the many, many different trailers that exist, that I don't expect you up here to be able to describe in any great detail, that cooler heads can prevail as a community without making threats to take a town to court, we can make agreement and come to resolution. Now, I think what the right thing to do is to get off the backs of these people who either rent space at commercial properties or own them outright or house these trailers at their homes, because these trailers are unique to everybody's situation being what it is, whether it's for private storage, employment. Mayor, with respect to the things you said, we're a boating community. Yes, we are. But I was raised, you work before you play, and we're a working community. And I'm here my whole life, and my family's been here for over 100 years. And they held prominent positions. Post official, head of the postmaster, building the Elks Lodge, managing the Elks Lodge, having community sense and pride, and knowing how to take care of people without hurting people. And I think the right thing to do is to revisit the ordinance, do a little learning, get some public insight. I'm retired. I'd be more than willing to work with every single one of you and make these people be able to sleep at night at rest, knowing that they're not hurting people, because there should be restrictions. About the biggest commercial landscape contractor carpenter trailer would be about a 26-foot trailer. And most people have open trailers because they can't afford the enclosed trailer. It's just a matter of dollars and cents. Again, we're a working community and everyone strives to do the right thing. I ask you, how many times has this ordinance been addressed since its inception? Has it been modified by anybody up here? And when was its last revision? When was its last enforcement, if any at all? These people of this town work their asses off, and they deserve to be treated with some dignity and respect, because you can go work in Rumson, and that town's not perfect. What are we trying to gain from this? Because if you just go after a small group, you're thinking micro. Think macro, and look at the big picture. We're not perfect. We can do better. We can all do better. We can clean up our town. We can make things better, but we need to come together. And the answer is not stroking out enforcement to scare, because to me, that's oversight, that's abuse of power, and that's not knowing how to yield power. Again, I could give people tickets that were 6 figures and go home and eat my dinner and smile on my couch and look at my family and have normal conversation. I never did it once because I knew the impact. Go back to the enforcements. The code enforcement officials, with their being pushed in a corner, are doing their job. Write a letter publicly through your patch or whatever electronic means. We picked up an ordinance tonight to save some money. Not everyone gets Asbury Park Press. No one gets the Coastal Sun or whatever that newspaper may or may not be called. Put it on a public website. Everyone who got a letter from this period to that period stating you're in violation of ABC 123, scrap it, please shred it. Doc, let's go back, let's revisit, maybe put restrictions. 26 foot, yes, you can be enclosed. Yes, you can be open on a residential property. Working class community will go boating on Saturday and Sunday or after work after 5. But let's start to give some respect in both directions to all parties and get it right. Because if we can't take care of each other, then I'm gonna leave here again saying, well, what was it that attorney said to me when he told me it's not gonna be discussed, but now it is discussed? I was in my pajamas tonight about to eat dinner. It's thrown in the fridge, I threw some clothes on, and I came here to hear just exactly what's going on, because I don't wanna count on somebody second, third person on the internet. That's about all I have to say. I volunteer my time to make it better for everybody involved. I have a lot of knowledge, I don't have all the answers, and if there's something I can help I don't have an answer to, I'll find the answer and help you to make the community better. The people of town deserve better. Scrap the letters of enforcement, give them a second chance, gain something. Again, ask every single person when you read that ordinance, what is it we're trying to do? Because if you're trying to become Rumson, if you're trying to become Fairhaven, we got a long way to go. Stop thinking so micro and look broader to a macro sense. We owe it to each other. You hold power, realize how you delve it out.
Thank you for your comments, Mike, and I thank you for your offer as well. Just a point of clarification, we did not bring up the trailer discussion in this meeting or in previous meetings, but obviously, whatever the public would like to bring up in public comment is something that can be discussed.
May I just, not to signal out the
Yeah,
And you will hear that. You said, Mike, it is done. And I said, can you just please tell me again? Because a lot of times these things have a way of resurfacing.
I hear you saying, I'll clarify that. Yes, there was an amendment to the trail ordinance that was on, frankly, I thought it was something that would clarify some of the issues that are here tonight, and there was an uproar about it. That trail ordinance was withdrawn. You said, I want a guarantee that that amendment to ordinance will not be coming back. And I gave you that guarantee. I stand by my word. There is nothing on the agenda tonight on trailers. There is no amendment to the trail ordinance. I understand there are people out here that are upset. I get it. And they're upset because they were issued summonses under the existing trail ordinance that's been in place since 1971. That's a discussion that we can have. But don't question my integrity about giving you a commitment that I'm standing by and the council stood by. There is not any amendment to that trail ordinance. There will not be an amendment to the trail ordinance. It's been in place since 1971. This is a different discussion we're having tonight than what we talked about that night a few weeks ago.
Broad stroke, I said to you, will there be future discussions on the trailer in any capacity? And you said no. And that was a month
But
ago.
I can't,
no,
we
I
can't
I
predict
can't
what the
control
public is
getting
going
up.
to bring
You
to
got up and
the
asked about the
public
trail
forum.
ordinance. I can't control that. You are free to get up and talk about it. You're the public. You're entitled to do that. I don't control that.
We appreciate the offer as well, Mike. Any other questions from public? Moving forward, please raise your hand if you'd like to be recognized. We got it.
Mike Calderese, 331 Stinson Road. I'll start off like this. I am part of, I guess, the misinformation problem that was referenced today. I'm the guy that has been emailing every one of you guys, and it took 2 months to get a response. I'm just going to toss that out there. Misinformation comes from no response. When we were here, we had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions. And those questions all revolved around why this thing came up in the beginning, why was it trying to be changed, then why was it tabled all of a sudden, and it took 2 months to get a response out of anybody. And now what I'm hearing is that I could have my tool trailer that has been on my property. It's an enclosed trailer for 20 years. I'm a business owner in this town for 20 years. Someone could move in, make an anonymous complaint, and due to the ordinance the way it's written right now, I would probably have to move my trailer because there was a complaint on it. But it's been there 20 years. Are we going to be doing anything to try to, say, rectify or protect some of the landscapers and some of the mason contractors and some of the business owners that have their trailers on their property? Because it's a lot of people, right? Because I didn't see anything when you guys brought it up in that. It was banning 10,000 anything gross vehicle weight over 10,000 pounds. That's not misinformation. That came right off of your site. That means my dually would not have been able to park on my property. That's what got me involved in this. That's what started the brick breakdown in the first place. Your lack of response created me, and it created a lot of the misinformation that we're seeing right now. And sorry, I brought up the boats because I am concerned the way the ordinance is written, that because trailers says anything on wheels. Then you have specific carve-outs for different things. So if it starts at the business owners and some of the commercial business we have, when is it going to start trickling down to people like me who've been in business here for 20 years? And there's no guarantee that it's not going to happen. And what I hear here is you guys aren't even planning on bringing it up in protecting anybody like us. Has that been discussed? All I saw was in your proposal was it hurting people like me who take a trailer to work every day. So do we have anything that, are we discussing anything to carve out people like me? I get, and nothing for nothing, we talk about RVs. RVs go against what the ordinance was, I think, designed for, not to have people living in it. I'm cool with people not living in their trailers, but you could have an RV that you could live in. It's a ready-made house. I get it. I get it, but you see.
You're saying it though, so I'm
no,
just
no.
correcting
What I'm
you.
saying is, it's allowed. If I can't have an enclosed trailer with people living in it for that discussed purpose in the ordinance, but someone can have an RV that can be lived in on your property. You don't see like kind of how that there's the way that ordinance is written is actually pretty bad, and the fix to it was even worse. And now are we really going to consider anything that could possibly fix some of the misclarification or misinformation that's clearly in this that may protect people like us that are worried that some of the summonses that are happening right now are going to start happening to us, and all they need is anonymous complaint. Are you guys going to protect us from this?
We're obviously going to be looking at this ordinance to see what is in there that is obviously detrimental to small businesses. So we're not
closed
here,
trailer.
we are not here
I know,
to
closed
hurt
trailer
business
though.
owners. I understand that, yes.
So,
Yeah.
so I also offer
Please
my
let her
services.
finish.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you.
We're not here to hurt small businesses. We want to help small businesses. We understand that this is an issue. It really wasn't an issue up until we tried to clarify for our code enforcement what this ordinance meant that has been on the books for over 50 years, okay? Because we have had people calling in to complain. When people call in to complain, our code enforcement goes out. Our code enforcement had questions about the ordinance. Our attorney sat down. We went over the ordinance and what the meaning of the ordinance was. And when the change was going to be made, obviously it was not well, the public did not want that to happen. And we rescinded that change to the ordinance. Now, because so much attention has come up about this ordinance, people are realizing, oh, I don't have to have, maybe there's somebody living on the block like you for 20 years that, had their trailer and they're like, oh, I don't like that trailer, I'm gonna call about it. I don't know who's calling, okay? I don't answer the calls. I'm not looking at the call logs. I'm just saying that people have called and complained. It's obviously a problem. It's being recognized, and it's something that the council and the land use committee can look at again to see if there's some way we can rectify it so that we are not injuring small business owners. Because we
Okay,
don't want to do that.
We should though, because what you said earlier, I think it was something like people don't want trailers in their neighborhoods.
Well, some people don't,
Well,
and
some
those are the people that
also
are
wanna
calling.
I know, but some people also
Yeah.
want to make a living. So if we acquiesce just to them without protecting us, I think there's a real big gap there that's missing. And I also would like to, honestly, I would love to be a part of this. If you guys want to do it, we could do it on the show. We could have a roundtable conversation. I'm being very serious.
Understood.
Because
Allow me to interject
the
for a
whole
moment,
thing
Mike.
is
Allow
to
me
get
to
you guys to
interject for
give
one
everybody
moment.
information.
Allow me to interject for one moment. You've mentioned that we did not respond for 2 months to requests to appear on your podcast.
3.
To requests to appear on your
and
podcast.
the first, hold on
I'll
one
let the
second.
mayor speak for herself, but I
Hold
am
on.
sure that she has made herself available to
The
you to
first one was a
provide
discussion with
information.
me. I sent you, all of you, to talk about that ordinance. The podcast didn't even exist on my first one. Then there was 2 requests to come on my show, none of which any of you responded to for 2 months. 2 months. Then I got 4 responses in a matter of 8 hours, all saying no thank you. This isn't just a podcast. This is a news show. It's a breakdown show of this town. It's a highlight show of this town. I've been reading off the sports, all the sports highlights. I've been playing the kids' sports highlights. This is an information-based show from this town. And the fact that it took everybody 2 months to come and even say anything to me, then you say that, that's ridiculous. That's an insult. I am a brick
This
resident
sounds like
here.
a personal agenda.
It's not a personal agenda. I do have a personal agenda. The agenda is to get information out. Period.
And the mayor
Because
has made herself available.
held. It has been
The
held
mayor has
from
made
us.
herself
No,
available to answer
3
your
no's.
questions.
3 no's. Everybody, we need to do better. That's all I'm going to say.
But to be clear, we are meeting next week.
100%. I look forward to it, and
Okay.
I've announced that on my show.
So there you
I've
go.
announced it on my show, but we're not doing it to where everybody could see it. I would love it if we could get it on tape. I want everybody to get to know you guys. I want to have you on to discuss issues. I want to have you guys on to discuss issues. One of the things that happens is I get in that voting booth and I look at the names and I have no idea who you people are. None. And I want to change that. You guys should be talking to me. I am giving you a platform to talk to these people. And none of you guys want to take me up on it. I want you guys to be a part of this. I want everybody to be a part of this. This is not just my personal issue. This is this town. I could be a big help. Use me. Get your message out. I won't do it in a biased fashion. I haven't been. Anybody here that looks at me, they know that I have been very straight across the board with you guys this entire time. I gave you 2 months to respond. You still haven't.
No, I did. Anybody else from public? Mr. Bacon.
Good evening. My name is Charles Bacon. I live at 366 Rancocas Drive. I have a couple questions about the ordinance. I didn't attend the December 10th meeting, as everyone in this room knows, and I've talked about this 3 meetings in a row. First, for the point of the people in the audience and people watching this, can we just define what ordinance we're talking about? I just want to confirm, is it Chapter 288?
Chapter
or
288, 288,
Okay, thank you very much.
and, well, technically, both. It's chapter 288 and 445, technically.
Okay, thank you. And this is a point of clarification. When Art came up here, he was talking about the ordinance, and I believe, Mayor, you might have said this. You mentioned that enclosed trailers were always banned. Now, I got to be honest with you. When I came here at the December 27th meeting, I had the red line ordinance, so I didn't bring the original one. But in this ordinance, it looked like specifically we were changing the language to actually ban closed trailers. So he's battling the town about a closed trailer that you said has been on the books, and maybe it's because I don't have ordinance 288 before. It was going to be introduced at December 10th, and as Council President said, it was pulled. But the one I'm seeing red line clearly is targeting a closed trailer. It's clearly in the red lines. We're actually defining an open trailer, we're defining a closed trailer. Now, I thought I heard, at my age, maybe my hearing's not what it should be, that he's never been allowed to have a closed trailer on his property. So I think for the point of the discussion and the public, that ordinance should be brought into here and memorialized in the minutes so we can actually see what it looks like, so we can discuss, was it banned or is he being targeted? And I've actually talked about this through a couple of meetings because I do believe he has been targeted. Have a good evening and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Are any other questions from the public? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Richie Campbell. I live in Brick. Good evening, Brick Township. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and address you today. Though I've stepped back from local politics to focus on pursuing a PhD, I don't want to have to get involved. However, I can't ignore the pressing issues in our community. Recently, code enforcement, I've noticed, seems to be disproportionately targeting homeowners such as myself, including my 1966 Chevelle. I've been cited for having this vehicle outside. I lack an enclosed storage option like a garage, like the previous gentleman mentioned, like most of us are because we're working class people. And I lack an enclosed trailer storage option for my vehicle because of the behavior and regulations of the lunatics running in this community, that at any moment I would have to get rid of it. So that is why I haven't bought one. Meanwhile, there appears to be absolutely zero accountability for businesses along Mantolocan Road and other actual enforceable offenses which undermine the fairness of enforcement. I respectfully call on the township to shift its code enforcement focus to ensure businesses are held accountable while maintaining their actual properties. Rather than targeting taxpayer and homeowners, the imbalance burdens hardworking, tax-paying residents who are working-class men and women trying to feed their families. I believe Mantolocan Road should be one of the best beach towns in the entire state, if not the country. But currently, it's neglected, unkept, and resembles a dump. If my house violated most of the rules that many of these businesses did, I'd have citations in the mail. I guarantee it. I urge the township to prioritize improvements and enforcement to maintain its potential as a viable community instead of harassing me for having a Porsche or a Chevelle. I want to highlight that this is a deeper concern. The policies driving these enforcement practices seem to be shaped from school teachers and unqualified individuals rather than those who understand the realities of working class life and the challenges of supporting a family in this community. This disconnect has failed our township tremendously. Please address these issues effectively so I and others like me don't have to step up into local politics to advocate for change. Everyone here who's come out, they had to go to work, and now they're here complaining to you guys, okay? They don't want to do that on their Tuesday night because they got to get up extra early to go feed their families, to pay the property taxes, and all their bills that keep piling up in this community. This town does not improve year over year over year. You guys pat yourselves on the back, act like you're doing a great job. I don't see it. I'm sure most of the people here don't see it, okay? Please start doing right for the township of Brick Township, okay? We have two paths. One is revitalization and fairness for all reservations, or we continue neglect and inequality. I hope you take the action to improve our community. And I don't expect much from the other side in the upcoming election. Maybe if some viable candidates actually come, you guys would actually start working. But just a terrible job by everybody. I don't think the town is doing great, and you all should take some self-responsibility. And there's plenty to do here. And yeah, I hope you guys fix Mount Logan Road because it really should be beautiful. If anyone wants to debate any of my points, I'm fair to speak.
Thank you
None?
for your comments,
No?
Mr. Campbell.
Okay, all right. Let's waste another minute because you guys waste our time and taxes. Nice to see you, Joanne. Have a great day, everybody.
How are you? Thomas Finelli, 1889 Route 88, Unit 7. There's commercial property behind Van Houten Chocolate Storage. It's all like big garages. Tucker's is back there. Hudson Landscaping was there back in, I think, the 80s. Then it became Farrell's Landscaping. And then I moved in 2 years ago. I came through before I got my lease, I came down to zoning, asked if I needed to get any kind of paperwork. They said, no, you're good, Mr. Finelli. You and your family have been here for 40 years running the landscape company. I didn't think we'd have any problems. I asked all the neighbors. There's one behind the property of the shop. We don't make any noise. I have 3 enclosed trailers on the property. I got a violation on the 12th. After tomorrow, it's $2,000 per day for the enclosed trailers to be on my property. Going back to May 22nd, 2023, talked to zoning. There was no issues. I didn't need a variance. I didn't need zoning approval. I had a letter saying zoning was approved for the landscape company to continuously be ran. We're not switching. There's not a mechanic shop. I'm not running a mechanic shop. Running a landscape company. Enclosed trailer has my mowers that go out daily in the summer. Over the winter months, they sit in there and they sit there for the winter for 2 months. So I don't know what the problem is. Why all of a sudden now I'm getting a violation 2 years later after I came downstairs asking if I needed to do anything different running my landscape company.
Yeah, it sounds like it could have been a mistake if you were told. So that's,
A mistake?
Yeah.
How's it a mistake? I have an enclosed trailer
Well, if
and
they
I
don't know.
got targeted.
I'm sorry.
That's not targeting, an enclosed trailer on a commercial property. So we have to work together. Whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
zoning, engineering, whoever's talking. Pablo was the code enforcement.
Okay,
Didn't speak with them.
okay,
I wanted to. I came here on the 13th. He's on medical.
right. Did you speak to anyone else from code, though?
Chris and Jerry briefly.
Okay.
Someone was supposed to get in touch with me.
Nobody got back to you? Okay,
Can I say, yeah, I agree with the mayor.
This is ridiculous.
The way I'm not familiar with this at all, but I think there may have been a mistake. So what I'd suggest is.
But I have an enclosed trailer on a commercial property.
But if zoning gave you the approval
Right.
when you
That may be
initially-
the
If you had
township.
the approval,
citation
then
was a
that
mistake.
shouldn't have.
The
I think you're
township must have lived with that
misunderstanding.
mistake, if
But
that's.
why
what-
did I need nothing then?
No, you were,
No,
if,
no. Why did I need nothing then as a site plan
You
for
might,
continuous use?
Because you probably had one with the original use.
Yeah.
And you were just a new tenant with the same
I
use.
understand that, but
If it was a change of use, you would
But
have.
why wouldn't that be, he should have came back here, looked at the address of that site, and seeing if I had proper usage.
yeah.
Quite possibly.
We're in
I think what
agreement.
they're saying is that this may be a mistake, and if you come and talk, these may not be properly issued to you. That's the
Well, I
point.
came on the 13th, and then I haven't had a call since.
We'll make sure you get a
We didn't know that.
Yes.
I apologize.
But then I speak on behalf of everybody. If I didn't need a site plan, and I don't think the owner has a site plan, because it's been,
Probably.
I spoke with him. He didn't know anything about it, but it's been 2 landscape generations, and then myself.
It could have been quite some time ago.
Yeah, some of the site plans go back 20, 30, 40 years, so there may be
So it's
one.
gotta be, if it's landscape use or material yard use, it's fine?
It may be. Well, this is all new, so if you can just show us what you have, and we'll take a look at it, and I think we could probably clear this up. It may be a mistake on the township's part that needs to be resolved. We don't know enough sitting here tonight to tell you that, but we could probably tell you tomorrow once we look at it.
But then I'm speaking on behalf of everybody.
Well, they
Well,
might
that
not all have
part's
the
fine.
exact same circumstances.
And
But what
every-
you've described indicates that perhaps somebody in code enforcement should not have written that citation.
But
It will be taken under review.
But who called and complained on me?
That
We
I
got-
can't answer.
I was
mean,
one of 28 violations in the town. One of 28. There has to be someone that said, go find trailers.
Yeah,
I'm in the back of 88. You have to drive behind my building to see my trailers. No one from the public can see. They see a sign, Finelli's Landscaping. That's it. You literally have to drive around the building, and I have one neighbor. And that one neighbor did not call on me. So the code enforcement just targeted me? I feel like I got targeted. I definitely got
Pay
targeted.
attention.
Because nobody comes back there. It's a car wash, Tucker's, me, and a neighbor. That I went there, I said, did you call and complain? Is there an issue? She said, no, I did not call on you, Mr. Finelli.
It is not the goal of code enforcement to target people.
But I feel like I'm
I
getting
know you,
targeted.
yes, I know. I'm just saying, like, that is not what we want
My
our code
father's been a
officials doing.
landscaper For 40 years here and never had an issue.
First time we ever got a complaint, and I know for a fact that nobody called.
What I'm going to suggest is this, is that we take the information that you provided and we follow up with you and do some investigation.
But that's what I'm saying. For the 28 people that got the violations on commercial property, I'm fighting on behalf, I'm not just fighting for me, I'm fighting on behalf of everybody. Because for someone to come round my back, it's all on camera.
Understood.
So,
But your circumstances may be different from others.
right,
But who called on me?
we're going to
It's
look
public
at,
knowledge, though. Who actually called?
Certainly, the town council does not have that information.
Who has that information?
I'd say their complaints come into code enforcement, and I'll say this, as a matter of policy, it's same with complaints into the police department. Probably not, no. Probably not, no. Though, as a matter of policy, we don't disclose that for either police matters or for code enforcement matters.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, close public. Ms. Bergen.
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Our goal is to work with all of you, so having had the discussions this evening and seeing what is happening, we want to work with our small businesses and we want to make sure that you're able to continue to run your businesses. So if you give us a chance, we're happy to work with you and see what we can do to make sure that you can continue to run your businesses successfully.
Mr. Starkey. Thank you very much. Madam Secretary.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk. Councilman Albanese.
Nothing.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening, and I also want to thank all of our employees and our community partners for putting on a great 175th birthday party that we had on Saturday for the town. Everybody had a really great time, and it was well run, and I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting the town. Thank you.
Councilman Feynman.
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
Councilwoman Travers.
I just want to thank PAC 39 for coming out and helping us with the flag salute today. Thank you.
Vice President Minikino.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
I will say this. I have heard, and I feel I speak on behalf of the town council, all of the issues and concerns and sentiments that were raised tonight. I think we stated it early on in some of our responses to those comments. I know the mayor has reiterated it. We care about the people in this town. I've grown up in this town. I know it might not feel that way, or you guys are angry and you want to think differently. I've worked landscaping jobs in this town, and this town council does want to do what's best for the people in our town. So we will consider everything that was shared here tonight We will discuss things with our code enforcement group and others in the administration that work in the township, and we will determine whether or not there's something that should be done or can be done in order to recognize the concerns that you guys are raising. With that, I'm going to announce that the next public meeting is on Tuesday, March 11th at 7 p.m. I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to adjourn.